Hi, my name is Ted Ganship and I'm the founder of hearme. I want to thank you in advance for taking the time to watch our video and consider our application for this year's challenge. Our mission is to make the voice of healthcare understood, and we've spent the last 6 months talking to healthcare professionals across all kinds of titles and facilities. Hi, my name is Ted Ganship. I'm the founder of hearme. Our mission is to make the voice of healthcare understood, and I want to thank you in advance for your consideration, watching this video, and considering our application for the challenge. So instead of me telling you about the problems we're going to solve and how we're going to solve them, I'm going to let you hear the words of the healthcare workers who are the actual subjects of your challenge for this year, and making their lives more stress-free, more efficient, giving them a better workplace. So we've talked to healthcare workers on the front lines across a lot of different titles and a lot of different systems. What we wanted to do is make sure that our vision of the problem of speech intelligibility in hospitals and in facilities through facial PPE and with background noise, we wanted to confirm that our vision of that problem was correct. What we got was actually confirmation that it's far worse than we imagined. So these are some of the excerpts from those interviews that we did for about half a year, and I'll let you spend more time with these. I obviously won't read them to you. But what we got was this is really considered an occupational hazard in healthcare and has been for decades. As one burn unit nurse put it to us, it just comes with the job, repeating yourself. And so as we listen to these on a 10 scale, we are getting a lot of 8s, 9s, 10s. And the idea of clinical risk, the introduction of errors, as well as the degradation to the patient-caregiver relationship, there's really a head and a heart to this problem that we need to solve. So the takeaway here is that vocal intelligibility in healthcare settings is an enormous problem. Our solution to that, inspired by the feedback and the input from the healthcare workers, is hearme. So this is an all-in-one microphone, audio processor, amplifier, and a speaker that grabs just those frequencies that carry the consonants in the English language and restores them so intelligibility returns for both patients and caregivers. This is a closer look at it. You can take a look at this after the video is over. Very simple. Designed again with caregiver feedback to make sure that we keep it as simple as possible. This is the feedback after we showed the device. I'll let you again read these at your leisure, but we got incredibly good feedback. We weren't seeking it. We were in fact trying to disprove our vision of the problem and the solution, but what we got was a lot of proof. And so across all of these different titles, from nurses to dentists to emergency room physicians, people were saying yes for the clinicians, and yes, for the patients as well. You'll note here we talked to McKesson and Henry Schein because we want to make sure there's a market for this and that the distributors and the people selling it would be excited. And in fact, as you can see, they're very excited about it. McKesson, in fact, has offered to do a pilot that would augment some of the findings that we will get out of the Aurora pilot that we're very excited about. That's it. My 3 minutes is up, and I hope you enjoyed hearing a little bit about hearme, and I can't wait to meet you all in person. Thanks very much. Bye. Actually, I can do it tomorrow, period. Was supposed to see Julia, but that won't happen, period. So tomorrow's fine for me, so is Wednesday, let me know, thanks. Hi, my name is Ted Ganschiff. I am the founder of hearme. Our mission is to make the voice of healthcare understood. And I'm going to spend the next 3 minutes telling you about the problem we're going to solve and how we're going to solve it. But I'm going to use healthcare workers' words because we've spent the last half a year talking to a whole range of healthcare workers about problems that Hi, my name is Ted Ganschiff. I am the founder of hearme. Our mission is to make the voice of healthcare understood. I'm going to spend the next 3 minutes telling you about the problem we're going to solve in the healthcare workplace and how we're going to solve it, not through our words, but through the words of healthcare workers, because that's who we've been talking to for the last half a year to make sure that our vision of the problem of verbal intelligibility in healthcare settings and the stress and risk that it introduces is correct, as well as our vision of the solution to this problem. So as I said, we've been talking for months to people across a lot of different systems, a lot of different titles and functions to make sure that our vision of this problem of being unable to understand people because of facial PPE and background noise, this is introducing a great deal of frustration and stress into the environment. We didn't tell them that's what we were going to talk to them about. We just wanted to interview them about their workplace and about facial PPE and the problems it introduces. Universally, across all the systems that we talk to, every one of the healthcare workers brought up communications and verbal intelligibility as a primary problem and a primary stressor in their world. I'm not going to read all of these to you. I'll leave you to take a look at these when the video is over. But what you'll take from these excerpts is a few things. One, this is considered to be an occupational hazard by healthcare workers. What they believe is this just comes with the job. In fact, a burn unit nurse told us not being understood is just part of the job. And so they repeat themselves to patients, patients repeat themselves to healthcare workers repeat themselves to each other. It introduces, as I said, a great deal of risk, a great deal of stress, and a great deal of frustration for the workers. It's interesting because it's never really been isolated as a problem, and people haven't tried to solve it in a specific way. And that's what we're doing. We're going to do it through the hearme. Hearme is a microphone, audio processor, amplifier, and speaker for providers and patients alike. It's a medallion. It can be worn on a lanyard, on a shirt, mounted on a bed. It's a very simple device, and what it really does is restore the frequencies that carry the consonants in the English language, because that's where the meaning in the English language is in the consonants, and those are in a narrow band of frequencies. So we're not going to amplify everybody to 110 decibels. We've just done something terrible. We're going to restore voices, conceptually remove the mask. So we showed them our solution after hearing about the problem, and we got some really great feedback from them. And we would love to be in the pilot to get much deeper and wider feedback. We believe it'll be very positive, but we want to shape this product around the feedback from the workers themselves, around the feedback from the patients, and we want to make sure that all the downstream problems we think we can solve around burnout and stress and frustration, clinical risk, we want to make sure that we are going to be able to deliver as powerful a solution as we possibly can. Here we did talk to some of the biggest distributors in the industry to make sure that on the commercial side, people thought it was a good idea as well. And you can see here we got a really resounding result. So with that, I'll thank you again for your consideration, and I hope to be meeting all of you very soon. Bye. Hi, my name is Ted Ganschiff. I am the founder of hearme. Our mission is to make the voice of healthcare understood. I'm going to take the next 3 minutes and I'm going to tell you about the problem we're going to solve and the solution that we have for the problem. But I'm not going to tell you in our words. I'm going to tell you in the words of the actual healthcare workers who are the subject of your challenge for this year. Because we've spent the last half of the year talking to these folks across a whole range of titles, functions, and systems to make sure that our vision of the problem of voice intelligibility in noisy healthcare settings with facial PPE, and our vision of our solution were correct. So we have Hi, my name is Ted Ganschiff. I'm the founder of hearme. Our mission is to make the voice of healthcare understood. I'm going to spend the next 3 minutes telling you about our vision of the problem of verbal intelligibility in hospitals and healthcare settings, the inability to communicate well, and our vision of the solution. But I'm going to tell you in healthcare workers' words. And that's because we've spent the last half a year talking to healthcare workers across a whole range of titles, a whole range of systems and functions to make sure that our vision of this problem of intelligibility and our solution to that problem were in line with their beliefs and their experiences. So we did not tell the healthcare workers when we started the interviews that we were going to talk about communication. We wanted to talk to them about their workplace and facial PPE and some of the problems they have. Absolutely all of them brought up communication and the frustration and stress of repetition and the introduction of risk because of lack of intelligibility during the interviews. And I won't read all of these to you, these excerpts. I'll leave these for you to read at your own convenience. But we did get the universal feedback from this community that this problem of intelligibility is considered an occupational hazard. As one of the burn unit nurses put, not being understood just comes with the job. And so even in the most critical situations where people are coding or where there are discharge instructions to patients and compliance is really important, intelligibility is really suffering out there. And that's a problem that we think we can solve. So again, I'll leave these to you. This is our product. It's called a hearme, and it's a medallion, an electronic personal device that includes a microphone, an amplifier, a voice processor, and a speaker. And it can be worn on a lanyard, it can be worn on a clip, it can be mounted on a bedside for a patient. It's very flexible. I'll leave you to look at these features. It's very simple, and that is adoption is a big deal for us. We're going to keep it very simple. The thing to remember is really that it's voice restoration. So what we're doing is we're going to capture a narrow band of frequencies where the consonants are in the English language because that's what the masks are stealing from us. And we're going to restore those. So conceptually, we're just removing the mask. We're not going to amplify everybody to 110 decibels. We're simply going to conceptually allow them to remove their masks and stop repeating themselves. We asked some further feedback, and again, I'll leave you to look at these a little more closely later, but the feedback was universally positive across all of the different functions and titles that we talked to. So we wanted to make sure, too, in addition to some of these excerpts that you're looking at related to the healthcare workers, we wanted to make sure that they would have commercial viability as well. So we did talk to some of the largest distributors in the world. And they too are interested in fact, as you'll see, McKesson would like to do a pilot with us that would augment some of the findings that we'll get in the Aurora pilot that we're really looking forward to being a part of. So my 3 minutes are up. I want to say thank you again for your consideration, and I look forward to meeting all of you in person. Thank you. Bye. Hi, my name is Ted Ganschiff. I'm the founder of hearme. Our mission is to make the voice of healthcare understood. And we're going to do this by creating a product called a hearme, which is going to restore voice intelligibility in healthcare settings. And I'm going to tell you about that problem and that solution, not through my own words, but the words of healthcare workers that we've been talking to for almost half a year now, who have been describing what it's like in their workplace to have to repeat themselves, to not be understood, and so forth. We talked again about digi pa Hi, my name is Ted Ganschiff. I am the founder of hearme. Our mission is to make the voice of healthcare understood. So we've spent the last 6 months talking to healthcare workers across a whole range of titles and a whole range of systems about the problem of verbal intelligibility in the beep, 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 beep. I didn't like that one very much. Hi, my name is Ted Ganschiff. I'm the founder of hearme. Our mission is to make the voice of healthcare understood. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the problem and a little bit about the solution in the next 3 minutes, but I'm going to do it through the words of healthcare workers because we've spent the last half year talking to healthcare workers on the front lines about the problems that they're having in their workspace that are creating frustration and stress and burnout. We're focusing on verbal intelligibility. So when we started out our interviews with these different healthcare workers in these different systems, we simply told them we wanted to discuss their workplace and facial PPE problems that they have with it. These excerpts are among what we got back from the healthcare workers. The takeaways are, one, verbal intelligibility is a huge problem in healthcare. The repetition is anywhere from an 8, 9, or 10 on a 10 scale for most of the healthcare workers. The second takeaway is that it's considered an occupational hazard. Absolutely nobody's trying to solve this problem, even though it is endemic across the entire system. So our goal after getting this feedback is to shape and create a product that's going to solve this problem for both patients and clinicians. And that solution is hearme. hearme is an electronic personal device. It's a medallion that's an all-in-one microphone, amplifier, audio processor, and speaker. It's very small, it's very lightweight, it can be worn on a lanyard or it can be clipped to a lapel or mounted on the bedside. And the most important takeaway of this 3 minutes from a technical standpoint is that we're not amplifying in the sense of a PA system, we're restoring. So we're taking a very narrow band of frequencies that carry the consonants, where the meaning is in the English language, and we are restoring those frequencies. So conceptually, we're just taking off the mask. That's what we're doing with the hearme. So we showed them our solution, and we have taken a lot of feedback from them and introduced it back into the design. The design that you saw is a probably iteration 12. But as you can see, we've gotten some really great feedback from these different healthcare workers. And what surprised us most was how unanimous the problem was, their version of the problem, and how excited they were to have a solution for that problem. So I'll leave you to read through these at your leisure, but as you can see, we got some really great feedback from these folks. We also wanted to see on the commercial side, would there be enthusiasm about carrying a product like this? And you can see here that from McKesson and Henry Schein, the dental distributor, there's a lot of enthusiasm. And in fact, McKesson would like to run a pilot to augment the pilot that we very much hope to do with Aurora Health. So we do very much hope we'll be meeting with you soon. And we look forward to answering all your questions about our hearme. Thanks again in advance for all of your consideration. Thanks. Bye. Hi, my name is Ted Ganschiff. I'm the founder of hearme. Our vision and our mission is to make the voice of healthcare understood. We want to solve the problem of verbal intelligibility and misunderstanding in healthcare settings. Now I'm going to tell you about this problem, and I'm going to tell you about our solution in the words of healthcare workers, because we've spent the last half of a year talking to frontline healthcare workers about the problems they have in the workplace related to communications and the stress, frustration, and burnout that they're experiencing because of those problems. The big takeaways from this 3-minute video are, one, this problem is ubiquitous. Across all of our interviews, our healthcare worker friends told us that they are having healthcare worker friends? I'll do one more and I'll go home. Hi, my name is Ted Ganschiff. I'm the founder of hearme. Our vision and our mission is to make the voice of healthcare understood. We want to fix the problem of verbal intelligibility, repetition, and lack of clarity, and thereby eliminate the stress, the frustration, the burnout, and the... Hi, my name is Ted Ganschiff. I am the founder of hearme. Our mission is to make the voice of healthcare understood. We want to restore Hi, my name is Ted Ganschiff. I am the founder of hearme. Our mission is to make the voice of healthcare understood. And I'm going to spend the next 3 minutes talking to you about both the problem and our solution, but not through my own words. I'm going to tell you through the words of healthcare workers who we've been talking to for the last half year. The big takeaways from these interviews were, 1, the problem of verbal intelligibility in healthcare settings is ubiquitous. We were surprised by the number of people who... What am I doing? You didn't get me to just go with what I had.